Hey guys, this is here bringing you another video. Now, welcome to another dev update. This one is a bit older, but I like doing these. I think it's a healthy thing to do, and it creates discussion about the health of the game and what Riot themselves are thinking about the development of the game. So yeah, feel free to join in the discussion down below. So it's not a massive one. What we're most likely going to do is like see what they're saying and then expand points from it. So gameplay, Vanguard, and more dev update. And then a short rundown of updates from Bright Moon, Populaso Lasers, and Froxon. So, to summarize, they are going to be doing an update of we're overall happy about the removal of preseason. Again, I'm not, but we'll say and expand the point in a second. And shift to the start of season gameplay changes, and you are too. I mean, we're not, I don't think, overall. We have seen some funny bugs show up with the new objectives. That said, we have too much power showing up in burst damage like Bloodsong and Storm Surge, which have been adjusted, and then we have goals to get the damage back down to durability update levels. So just to go over some of these, I've not had one person say that they're overall happy that preseason was gone, and I don't know if Riot, again, they're always wanting to paint a picture that everyone's happy, no one's angry, or no one disagrees with us, everyone's good, right? See, I'm happy that the 3-month or 2-3 month preseason is gone, and that's probably where they're saying, look, everyone's happy, but that doesn't mean there shouldn't have been a preseason. And I've got this opinion. I think I've heard Broxer say this opinion, and like pretty well respected people in the community I think have got this opinion. We have had such a early fiesta start to the season because there has been no preseason. A lot of broken things have had to be toned down very fast. A lot of it would have been avoided if they simply did, as crazy as it sounds, 2 weeks of preseason. That's it. 2 weeks. One patch rotation. We get a patch every 2 weeks in League of Legends. If you did one patch rotation of, hey, here's the new stuff, have 2 weeks, then we're doing a ranked reset, boom, the new season begins, it would have been a lot healthier. And I think 2 weeks for the health of the game for the next few months, I personally think that trade-off is definitely worth it. And every time the discussion has been brought up in my stream, or I've seen it be spoken about on Twitter or Reddit, everyone is kind of in that agreement of maybe we should have a bit of testing, because like obviously PBE doesn't count. Like people say it's been on the PBE for weeks. Nobody takes PBE seriously. Riot doesn't take it seriously because you can't. Maybe a 2-week preseason. And even if you wanted to do it, and here's the thing, do it over the Christmas period. Do it a week before Christmas and a week after Christmas. A lot of people probably won't play, but the people that are dedicated and they're just playing the game anyway, at least you can get some data from that time and then go, oh, we do need to tone these couple things down for the ranked reset. So that's one thing I will say. I don't think we are happy that there's no preseason. Sure, a 2 to 3 month one was too long, but I think even if it's just a 2-week one, it would be a lot healthier. And yeah, bugs. I've not seen a crazy amount of bugs. There are some, but nothing out of the complete ordinary for me, I would say. And then, yeah, burst damage, and then damage being overall high again. Yeah, damage is king in League of Legends, but I would say damage is king in multiple ways. And I don't know if they're going to mention it down here, but we'll see. But damage is king in the fact that burst damage is really insane again. And I think we're all experiencing that. And yes, they have toned down some things, like Storm Surge, but it is still incredibly high. Lethality is still really good. That doesn't seem to be on their agenda to tone it down. But then on the flip side, damage is still too high for people that aren't even building damage. There are a lot of tanky things in League of Legends that are building tank, but then end up doing a buttload of damage. And you're like, where the hell did that come from? So again, overall, they just need to, once again, and it keeps happening, they need to tone down the damage in the game. So they're saying here their goal is to bring the damage back to where it was the durability update level, which that was good. Again, a lot of us wish the damage was even lower when the durability update happened, but at least it's in the direction of toning down the damage. Again, just to make it clear, the higher the damage in the game, the less skill there needs to be, because it's just blow your spells, someone dies, there's no outplay for that. The lower the damage there is, the more skill is actually needed, because every ability you land then matters, because the damage is low. So every spell you land, it matters more and more. So hopefully with that, it will bring a bit of skill back, but we will see. Next up is roughly half of Emerald players were in a prolonged state of negative LP gains last season, with 85% in Master Plus. This has been fixed and is around 5%. So yeah, obviously I was part of at one time the 85% in Master Plus. The Huzzy account was Master, had terrible LP gains practically the whole year, even though the account had a positive win rate the whole year. It has been a bit weird. I right now have a negative LP situation on the Huzzy account, but that, again, I will say it makes a bit more sense. The Huzzy account, as I'm recording this, actually has a negative win rate. I'm okay with that. It does actually make a bit of sense when you've got a negative win rate. The game thinks you should be lower rating, have bad LP stuff. That makes sense. What didn't make sense was having good win rate and having negative LP. So it's good that they've worked this out. I think potentially they should have worked it out last season in the season, but they didn't. But at least, hopefully, it'll be a bit healthier for the average player who's Emerald, but also the higher tiered player. It just felt like it was an impossible grind. But yeah. Climb should feel more consistent this season after some fixes. We fixed most of the bugs that caused legitimate new players to place gold or plat. So that's one thing that Riot themselves has said is, obviously, if you guys have been watching the Unranked to Diamond, the account's already Diamond. We did it, I think, in 53 games, which, again, for not tryharding, for playing a lot of different champions, to get a fresh account to Diamond in 53 games without tryharding is insane. But what Riot's return and what they're trying to kind of counter is, it's not new accounts, well, it was, but it's legitimate new players should not be placed high. So what Riot is saying, if it detects you not as a new player, it's okay to be placed gold or plat. Like, that's what they want. And I guess the idea of it is they're detecting, and this was like where they kind of got rid of SmurfQ completely. SmurfQ isn't back, but they have a system that's detecting if you're a new player or not. And what I would say, I was a bit confused because my account, Mundo's Nurse, that I leveled, I didn't play normal games on that. I was playing ARAM to level. So it must have detected I wasn't a new player, even with playing ARAMs. So that actually surprised me a bit. But yeah, we obviously got placed, if I'm not mistaken, in Platinum 1 on that account. And within 2 or 3 games, we were Emerald on that account. Before my placements finished, I was Emerald. That's mad. For, again, essentially leveling in ARAM. But I guess what they're doing is if they determine you're not a new player, you get a higher rating because they're trying to actually reserve, you know, the lower ranking for new players or whatever like that. So it's a bit weird, but I think new accounts on average are still pretty, well, they're too good. The next one is we're still working on our ability to better differentiate Smurfs from new players. So they're still working on it. We're customizing League's version of Vanguard to specifically target cheaters, scripters, and bots in-game. So I think that might be the first time they've ever said what specifically the Vanguard is going to be doing. So scripters, so when it says cheaters, League of Legends cheating is actually quite difficult because it's server-based, or it's server-side gameplay. It's not hosted on your own device or anything like that. And really, realistically, the only cheat that I know of that people actively do is scripting. But they're differentiating as cheaters, scripters, and bots. There has been some, by the way, cheats throughout the years. They have popped up. There used to be, years ago, there was a cheat with Xerath. I don't even know how you did it, but you literally stood on your god tower, and he basically could kill anybody at any time. I think with his ultimate, I can't remember it in detail, but it was to do with Xerath, and you literally stood on your own god tower, and he killed everything. That was one of the few actual cheats that was in the game. Scripting, again, I have heard people, obviously there are some people that are still quite sad that Vanguard is coming, but I overall think it's a good thing. Like, pretty much, obviously the major reason that people are against the anti-cheat or Vanguard is because it's kernel-based software, but practically all the anti-cheats now are kernel-based. So if you play Call of Duty, it's a kernel-based system. If you're playing Valorant, that's already Vanguard. Hell, if you're playing Helldivers 2, their anti-cheat is kernel-based. The problem that you've got, and this is the thing, is cheats now, and what, you know, the cheating softwares are having to do, because a lot of anti-cheats were getting better, the one place that cheats could hide was in kernel-based systems, which is basically hiding in your most secure Windows files. And because anti-cheats back then didn't have permission to look into those files, it couldn't detect the cheats. But because all cheats have practically gone that way, because that's how they were trying to still cheat actively, the anti-cheat is having to do that too. That's the whole point. And again, just to make it clear, you know, Vanguard, BattleEye, all these anti-cheats, they're not looking into your personal files. There's not some guy on the end of a computer looking at, oh, what's in this folder, Huzzy? That doesn't exist. They're looking for very specific things that are affecting their files of their games only. So again, I know some people are always going to be paranoid about it, but there really isn't a need to be. But for League of Legends specifically, again, scripting, it's not a massive problem. The bigger thing for me to take away from Vanguard coming is bots. So bots are a huge element of League of Legends and have been for the last couple of years. That bots are even making their way now into ranked games, in lower ranking ranked games, and a big part of why they exist. So obviously to level accounts, that's practically done by bots and bot farms. They play, you know, if you make a brand new account right now, go into co-op versus AI, the likelihood that you're in a game with 4 bots is really high. It's just the way that people are leveling accounts and then selling accounts. So in theory, Vanguard should wipe that out. Again, bots are obviously stupidly easy to detect, so that should wipe out the whole bot farming of new accounts. So that's a good thing for the game, massively. And then obviously, why are there bots going into rank? A lot of people, no matter what rank they are, a lot of people love starting at the lowest of low, like in Iron 4, because they can feel a sense of, you know, superior, of I'm stomping every single game in Iron 4. So there are actual bots now entering rank, de-ranking the accounts to Iron 4 on purpose, giving them terrible MMR, so then people can buy those accounts and then like have great stomps on their way up. That's also pretty bad, and that happens because of bots. So overall, I think it is going to be a good thing when Vanguard comes. Obviously, yes, there are negatives to it. You know, if you're on a Linux system, you won't be able to play League anymore. You're going to have Windows or Mac. Obviously, it is worth mentioning Vanguard cannot run on Mac. So there is I have seen people say, aren't all the bot farms and that just going to go run on Mac OS? Potentially. I don't actually know if Riot's has thought about that. But yeah, Vanguard as a kernel-based system cannot operate on Mac. So they can't detect those type of cheats on Mac. But at the same time, I don't know if these type of cheats or bots can even, like, if they have an operational anything on Mac. So I've got no idea, but we'll see. We've also got new intro, beginner, and intermediate bots that are coming out. So just making them a bit better. Which I don't think is a bad thing because it's good for new players. League, the thing that you have to imagine of why League of Legends is such a hard game to bring, like to learn. So you right now may have been playing the game a few years. So what I'd ask you is, when you started playing the game, how many champions were there? So when I started playing, right at the beginning, there was probably about 25 to 30 champions. A decent amount of champions, but like a manageable amount to learn. But if you pick up League of Legends right now, you don't have 30 champions to learn of what they do and how to counter them and how to beat them and all that stuff and what do you do with them on your team. You have 160 odd champions to learn with all the items as well. Like, it's an incredibly big and huge amount of information that you're having to take in while also mechanically learning how to play the game. It's nearly an impossible feat. And, you know, it's going to take you months, if not years, to just learn the basics of the game, including all the champions information. So no wonder they're trying to make the bot stuff better, because bots are a naturally good way to learn how to play. And again, I know this is ironic, detecting bots here. As you said, bots are bad for the game. Obviously, bots that sell accounts and all that stuff, that give people basically ammunition to troll in games because they'll ban that account and they'll just buy a new one straight away. That's bad. But the fact that there's new bots coming, I think, like training bots, is good. I missed this point also, is that they're rolling out Method of Vanguard just to see how it's going. I believe the Philippines is the region that they're choosing first. Apparently. I think the reason why people found out it was the Philippines, it was in a TFT patch note. Maybe it shouldn't have been, but yeah. So I think Philippines is going first, probably to do with maybe being one of the smaller regions, less of a risk. You know, you don't start that out in EU West, because if it goes bad and then nobody can play the game, then that's bad because it's your biggest region, you know. Yumi and Leona will be receiving prestige skins. Again, Yumi, who cares? Leona, this is, I think, her 3rd prestige skin, so that's a lot. We're getting Crystallis Indomitus, the new mythic theme coming out in March. Interesting. Kha'Zix, Xerath, and Nautilus will be receiving these skins with Kha'Zix first. So you can see here that they do look kind of cool, and with their passive, it has a different kind of look. So that looks cool. And then keep an eye out in April for a few cheesy surprises. So obviously April 1st, naturally, is the April Fools. And, you know, we usually get some funny skins that come out during that time, like Definitely Not Vel'Koz or Blitzcrank, stuff like that. Hopefully we get a new Definitely Not skin, because, like, what? It's Definitely Not Vel'Koz, Blitzcrank, Udyr? Is that it? That might be it. Maybe a new Definitely Not skin. They're always fun. But anyway, that's going to be it. Nothing major to talk about, but again, if they are toning down the damage, I think that is overall a good thing. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments below. But as always, if you guys enjoyed, do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal